the University of Tennessee for allowing us to host this event. It's a great time in Tennessee. We want to thank you for coming out to support Coach Martin in his quest to get in the Final Four next year, right? So work hard, right? Work hard, right? Okay. Now, if you really want to know what Coach Mark's doing, you can follow him on Twitter. You catch him at ice cream places. You catch him on Market Square. You catch him, at Zaxby's picking up something. Take home. So anyway, let's. There's a few questions that came through Twitter and Facebook and Google. They heard we were having this event. So questions came from everywhere. So I've got a few of those. And then if you have any questions, if we have time, then we'll allow you to ask a few questions of Coach Martin. Okay. First question is, you've been involved for about 2 months, and what are your initial impressions of Knoxville, the campus, the people, and the community?
Well, the thing I like about Knoxville is it's very similar. I went to school at Purdue University, and I was a head coach at Missouri State at Springfield, Missouri, so they're all very similar towns. I mean, peaceful towns that you can raise a family, and you get the education you need for your children to be successful. So those are the biggest things I like about it. I mean, they're wonderful towns, good people, and I think they're genuine people. I appreciate that.
Okay, question number 2. You've already kind of talked a little bit about your coaching philosophy, but who were some of the mentors who really helped to mold you as a player and as a coach and as a man?
Well, growing up in East St. Louis, every coach just kind of takes you under their wing. Was a baseball coach, elementary school coach, junior high coaches, or my high school basketball coach. He was one of those guys that allowed me to develop as a player. I think my growth in college, Gene Katie helped me become a player and a man. Just teach me those life lessons, tough lessons. Sometimes I didn't agree with everything he said, but he was the boss. So. But he really developed me in my work ethic to being a champion every day. But he also talked about going to class every day. And I used to think like, every day? And it was a valuable lesson. That's why I got a degree from Purdue University for putting that work in. But it wasn't always easy, I can tell you that, but it was well worth it.
Okay, it's been reported that you've taken a lot of time to learn the history of Tennessee basketball. Why was that important to you?
Well, I think when you go around talking about the history of a program, you have to know some of what you're talking about. Now, it's difficult to learn overnight, but you know some of the great players. I mean, one of the greatest shooters out in Houston. You have a lot of great players. I mean, Ernie and Bernie, so you can go down the list. But I hate talking about guys that were great players because you have to give those guys that were great role players that do as well. I felt like I was a great college role player, so you have to give those guys their just.
Okay, do you have any plans to get Letterman involved, past players involved with the program?
Oh, without a doubt, we've been working on it since we took over the job. We had a reception, I think, about a month ago with some of the past players. I think it's very important to keep them involved because they understand the lay of the land, they know what's expected, but they also give knowledge to our younger guys when they're coming through the program.
Okay. One question, you got your coaching staff here, and one of the most important things is putting together the right staff. So what was your philosophy, and why were these guys the right guys?
Well, I think first and foremost the right guys because there's a relationship. I think, this is a tough job. I'm not just saying being in Knoxville, just at this level. When you coach it is tough because it's not just basketball games. It really, what a lot of fans don't realize, that the game time is actually the easy part. The hard part is the everyday stuff, making sure they go to class and doing the right thing. So you have to have a staff that understands what you're trying to do. I've been around these guys. Marco Harris is the guy we basically like brothers. We came up together. Tracy Webster and I was at Purdue for years. We have a great relationship. John and Kent were with me, and Mark has done a great job on our program. But you have to have the guys that are on the same page as you. When I started saying these guys have to be in the finish. I think to be able to do that, you have a chance to be successful as a staff because you can't reach your goals without a great staff. And I think we have that. And
I heard you say in some interviews, you talk about players, and players win championships. You've had a limited opportunity to see the players that are here now, and you've recruited some new players. So can you share a little bit about what you feel the style of play will be this fall and the success that you feel like you'll have?
Well, as far as the style, we will certainly play hard, and I think we'll be a pretty good defensive team because of our personnel. I think we can do that if we get our guys to play hard and at a high level. On the offensive side of the ball, we like to score the ball. We were very successful in scoring the ball at Missouri State. We scored a lot of points and broke a lot of records, but it's hard for me to say actually what I think we'll do offensively because we haven't had a chance to gauge the personnel. We got 5 new guys coming in, 4 of my high school guys, and 1's a junior college guy. Then we have the guys returning outside of Cameron Taylor, who played a vital role last year. none of the other guys play major minutes, so it's tough to say what I think we'll do offensively. I think we'll be pretty good defensively. Now, hopefully it's one of those deals we don't have to score 50 points to win the game, but if we have to, we will.
Okay. Okay. You lost two great players to the NBA draft. Can you kind of update us on what's going on with Scotty and Tobias?
Actually, I was texting those guys back and forth yesterday. Tobias, I think he's in a situation where he can go from what the general managers of the team are saying from 10 to 20, no lower than 20. So he's put himself in a great position. Probably would have been a better position if he stayed here. But I think in Scotty's case, it's somewhere, second round pick working his way into the first round. I think both of those guys will be NBA guys. Barring injury, I think they can both have long careers.
Okay. Now, Coach Summit's a legend in Knoxville. Have you had a chance have any time to spend with her? Of course, I know you had a crab picking or something at her house, because that's on Twitter. If you want to know what's going on, follow Martin on Twitter. But anyway, what has been your relationship with Coach Summit?
Oh, it's been great. I think the thing about her that makes her so successful outside of the ability to coach the game and recruit players and demand a high level focus in the classroom. I think she's so humble in her approach. I mean, she's tough on the floor, but I mean, she's so genuine. I'll never forget when we played Tennessee here when I was at Missouri State this past season. She came up to me and introduced herself like I didn't know who she was. And I thought that was great, but just her approach, she's there to help you, anything you need from her, just a good person. She actually came to my office the first time we got it. I wanted to try to beat her and get to her office first, so I actually felt bad about this. So I'm gonna try to rush down her office to go and talk to her. But she's a wonderful person. She invited over her house and had a great time.
Okay. A couple more questions. This is probably the most important question. What's the secret to making a three?
Secret? I just really think it's hard work. I think that's the most important thing. Putting the work behind. If you have a decent shot, but it's just the work behind it. Every day, level of confidence, more than anything. You look at some of the great players, Ray Allen, Reggie Miller, Lightbird, all those guys are great shooters, but they all have different strokes, different forms to the shot. But I think the work they put behind it makes them great players, great shooters.
Okay, one more question, and then we'll open it up for questions from the audience. It's Saturday morning. Roberta's taking the kids. She's gone off the pigeon forge to Dollywood. And you're all alone. There's no film to watch, no recruiting to do. You're all by yourself. What's that time like? What do you do when you're downtime, Coach Cuonzo Martin?
Well, if it's that kind of downtime, I'm not with the family, I'm in big trouble.
Keep it real, right? Keep it real.
That's even a long night. No, but for me, really, there have been occasions when I've come off the road, they're probably gone. Not really, I mean, outside a lot of sleep, because we don't get, as coaches, we don't get a lot of sleep. So outside of that, I'm probably sleep on it. Nothing else going on.
Thank you very much, Coach Martin.